Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to animate in 3ds Max. What we use this for is for more complex 4Ds. And the reason why we use this instead of a software like Synchro is that we're able to do this in a comparable amount of time and make it look a lot nicer using Lumion afterwards. Um, so there's a few specifics that you will need to know before we even begin. Um, there's no fancy animations that are allowed. What I mean by that is we can't do anything called there's this thing called bone rigging that we're not able to do. We're not able to stretch objects. The only animations that will come across to Lumion are basic scales, and transformations like moving left or right, up and down. And you can actually scale in one direction and it will translate to Lumion. So that's helpful. You can also do rotations as well. The other specific that is very critical to Lumion is that Lumion will loop your animation back to the beginning once the animation is complete. What I mean by that is you will need to have something animating in the last couple of seconds of your total animation. Otherwise, it will loop back to the beginning prematurely. So if you have several things animated, let's say the animation takes 2 minutes in total, and your steel is only animating from, let's say, 30 seconds to 50 seconds, you'll need that steel to have a keyframe at 2 minutes. Otherwise, after 50 seconds, it will loop back to the beginning. This will make a little bit more sense in just a second. So I've just got this really simple animation that I'm gonna do. I just threw a box into our scene, and the first thing we need to do is to go into time configuration. We want to select custom and change our frames per second to 25. That's what Lumion likes. We're going to change our time display to minutes, seconds, and ticks. That's going to be the easiest to read. And then we can change, so we've got our start time and our length. Let's make it 1 minute, 0 seconds, and 0 ticks. I believe there's like 4,500 ticks in a second is the way that this will read it. So then we'll say OK. And now we can go ahead and animate. We're going to use something called set key mode. There's also auto, but I would recommend set key mode. You have to have set key mode on in order for 3ds Max to recognize the movement. So we're going to turn set key mode on, and this is actually your time bar right here. So it's a lot like Lumion. We're going to set a key here, so it's going to start at 0 seconds there, and then we're going to move to, let's say, 0 minutes, 10 seconds, and 0 ticks. And we're going to make a move over here, and we're going to set another key. And then we're going to move this again, and we'll move the cube one more time and set a key. And maybe this time we will come here. Maybe this time we'll do a scale. And make it taller. Set a key. And then maybe we'll do a rotation. At 40 seconds, we'll do a rotation. Just like that. And set a key. So now, if we were to play our animation, our lovely animation, it does exactly what we told it to. We can fast forward it by dragging the slider. We'll see it scale, rotate, and then it's done. Now, I'm going to take it out of set key mode and show you what happens if we export it exactly like this. So keep in mind that we want this to be a 1-minute animation. So we'll go ahead and do a file export, and let's just save this to downloads. Just like that, and we will save it. And you want to make sure that this animation checkbox is on, and we'll say OK. So then we'll come into Lumion and into this. We'll start a new scene, new plain scene. We'll come over here to import. On downloads, we'll import the animation test, and you'll want to make sure that you import animations. You'll turn that on and click OK. Then we'll place the model, and our cube should be animating. It is. There it is. So it's growing, and then we should see it rotate, just like we asked it to. And now it goes back to the beginning. It jumps back at the beginning. So as you can see, you need to add a keyframe at the end in order for it to register correctly. So we'll go back in to fix this, and we'll select that object, come to the end, turn on set key mode, and set the key. Then we'll do another file export, animation test, save, yes. Make sure animation is checked, we'll say OK, and then we will refresh the model. So it'll rotate, and then it should stay there for the rest of the duration of 60 seconds, which we don't need to watch. So those are a few important things to note. One last thing to note is that as you apply materials, you'll notice that the model freezes at keyframe 0. So the reason why that's important is if you're doing any scaling animations or you have things flying from off the screen, you're going to need to find each of those items to apply materials. There are some tips and tricks to applying materials, but we'll save those for another video. Thanks.